You got nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, because we're talking about Bain the Bounty Hunter from Guards of Atlantis today. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Jordan.
And this is Optimal Play. I don't think I usually introduce the videos that way, but...
You don't. I was like,
did.
When you said I'm Brandon, I was like, oh, now it's time to say I'm Jordan. It felt a little off, but I jumped right in there.
You did good.
There we go.
You did good.
Okay.
Yeah. And now I think we're 2 for 2 in these videos lately of me introing it and then us immediately talking about the intro.
Well, may it always continue.
Right.
So today we're talking about our first 2-star character, Bain the Bounty Hunter.
Yes, we've graduated.
We've graduated from the 1 stars to the 2 stars.
I'm excited.
Me too.
And in our games lately, we have been, I think, mostly playing 2s and 3s, right?
I think that's right. A
yeah.
lot of 2s and 3s. Usually there's 1 or 2 newer players who are playing 1s. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, 2s and 3s have been hitting the table.
Yeah, so I'm excited to talk about them.
Me too.
First, though, and I'm ambushing you with this.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about the 10-player game we played a couple weekends ago.
Oh, absolutely.
Did you have a good time?
I had a great time. It was super fun. It was less than 2 hours long.
I couldn't believe it.
I mean, Brandon did come up with some great timing rules and enforced them well, but they weren't really a problem. Everyone, I feel like, still got to make all the decisions they wanted to make and play the game normally. We finished the game in less than 2 hours. It was super fun.
It was like, it didn't go the full length of waves that a game can go. So when we say we played it under 2 hours, it was like, there's a way the game could have unfolded that would have been a lot longer. Because I think there were 3 or 4 pushes out of a possible 14 at that player count.
Right.
That said, though, there were several pushes, and then it came down to a giant epic team fight with both teams at 1 heart to decide the winner.
That's right, I forgot.
Yeah.
Because one team was ahead for a minute, but then, the other team almost caught back up.
Mm-hmm.
And then it came down to a final hero kill. I did. I got the final hero kill.
I thought you were going to say, because you were Bain, right?
I was Bain.
That was also part of why I
It was part of Bain.
Yeah.
And Bain got the final kill, which was pretty cool. And actually, Bain also got an extra heart off with his bounty token, which we'll talk about later.
Right, that was I actually had blocked out apparently that you got the final kill. I lost the game. I don't think I was the one killed, but my team lost.
No, Candace was the final one killed. You did die twice that turn, but Candace was the one that
killed. Yeah. Was that? No, it wasn't that. I think that was a different game where I died twice in one round.
Oh, was it?
Maybe.
Oh, man, they all blur together. We played a lot of Guards of Atlantis recently.
Yeah, we were at sort of a weekend getaway where we made this happen. So it was sort of a private convention type setting, and people sort of set aside their whole afternoon agreeing to play this, kind of expecting it to go long. And we were so pleasantly surprised that everyone was dialed in. Like, it was partly, yes, I think that us using turn timers, we did 90 seconds of strategy, 3 minutes for strategy and leveling up between rounds, and then 30 seconds only enforced when needed to execute people's turns.
Right, so 90 seconds to pick a card, 30 seconds on your turn to resolve your card.
Right. But also just people were generally focused. With 10 people, that was not a guarantee, and it was super important because people could only take their turns, I think, within 30 seconds because the person whose turn it wasn't was still paying attention, so if you asked a question about what's your card do, they could just quickly answer it and we could keep it moving. So, I do think while we had a great time, I wouldn't be surprised if it could go worse.
Sure, but I'd be more than happy to do it again, play it 5, play it 4. I thought this was going to be like a one-time thing. No, happy to play this at 5.
Agreed.
5 times before anytime.
I fully expected, more likely than not, we would come away being like, well, I'm glad we checked that off our list. Glad we satisfied our curiosity.
Right.
But no, it made me want to do it more. So
100%. And you guys should check it out too if you can find 7 willing players. And the other thing that was nice is we made sure it was no one's first game. So players who were interested played in a learning game the day before.
Right.
And that was a 3v3 learning game. I think it was almost everyone's first game or many people's first game.
Like 4 of the 6 or something.
4 of the 6. Yeah. And that game was very long, like 3 or 4 hours.
Oh, was it?
It was
boy.
Okay. I wasn't in it, but but once everyone knew how to play and we got back to the table, it was light and quick.
Yeah. So thrilled. It was such a good game. We're definitely going to do it again. Anyway, I just wanted to share that. Who knew 5v5 Guards of Atlantis is a real thing you can do and have fun doing it.
Yeah. This game just is really good and works at any player count and is just amazing. It continues to astound us how good it is.
It really is. We've been playing it a lot lately.
Yeah, and I just feel like the game's meeting us. Like, as we're putting more time and thought into these characters and our plays and synergies around the table, the game's like, oh, there's even more complexity and like more strategy that it reveals.
Right.
Yeah. Some games, like, after you've played it a few times, you're like, okay, I've reached the end of this road. Every time I get to like the top of the next hill for Guards of Atlantis, there's more road below.
That's very eloquent.
Thank you.
I think I feel like I have felt myself getting a lot better at general decision making, being familiar with what other heroes can do, playing the right card in the right moment, and even predicting what people's like motivations are. I think the next plateau for me and some of my friends, who are your friends too, we are friends, is like teamwork. I think that at this point, a lot of the most glaring like misplay type of moments have to do with someone not making kind of the quote unquote correct play based on what their teammate has showing and what they're going to do.
I have to say that is, I think, the next frontier. And we've started to see it where in a game I played last week with Kyle, he and I silently communicated this plan. And it was like pitch perfect. And like we both knew exactly what the other was going to play, and we just like figured it out. And that like silent communication, just knowing like the board state and what was going on, felt really good.
It feels so good.
It feels so cool.
It feels so good to pull that off.
Yeah.
I don't know how many play groups are out there playing a lot together like we are, but if you are, you're probably having a great time too.
Yeah. And if you're not, try and find a way to. It's great. Yeah.
Very satisfying.
Yeah.
And we have one video in the can that I haven't published yet. Actually, I'll publish that before this. Never mind. Why am I? There's more. There's gameplay on the channel. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
But the tariffs and the oncoming potential demise of the board game industry having me thinking about what games would be good to get on repeatedly back to the channel. And Cards of Atlantis is on the top of the list. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you already posted the 5x5? Should we tease that?
Like the time lapse?
Yeah.
Yes, that is up. There's
already up.
a YouTube short on the channel that is a time lapse of the game we were just talking about. Yeah, it's it's a little hard to follow, but it gives you a idea
sense of the scope, maybe.
Yeah, the 4v4 or 4v5 side of the map. I had never used until that moment. Let's see that in action.
Which apparently you can use at 3v3, and I kind of want to try that.
Oh, really? Does the rules welcome you to do that?
I think so.
I wonder if that'd be any good.
Yeah, it's interesting. In our game, one more comment. It started off being like, 3v2 and 3v2, but at the end of the game it was 2v0 on one side and then 5v3 on the other. And the 3-1 on that side.
Yep,
which is interesting.
Kill. Yeah.
So it was, it was kind of an interesting dynamic of, heroes moving back and forth between the two lanes. It felt cool.
Yeah, it's the interesting thing about this game compared to like video game MOBAs is that having the player count advantage doesn't you're adding together all your damage really. There sort of is with multiple discards, but all it takes is one blow that connects to win the game. So you can be on the minority in a team fight, still pull it off.
Right. Yeah, actually early in the game, not to, toot Kyle's horn too much, but he was playing Misa, and there were 3 of us attacking him, and he managed to avoid all 3 of us for like a whole round. And I was like, "This is crazy!" And I did misplay one of those cards, but still, it was very amazing that he did that.
It was great. It was great. Okay, well, the man we're here for, Bain. Want to tell us about him?
Yep. Do you want this little story bit, or what are we doing?
Always a story.
All right. Yeah. I wouldn't go around asking questions about Bain. Shady character, that one. Some say he's a nobleman looking for his lost sister. Some say he is but an ordinary drunk. Drunk or not, he's the best shot this side of the desert. Unless you want him for a job, stay clear of him, partner.
Oh, is Bain hiring?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. No, so, interestingly, I believe the allusion to a sister here is a reference to Cutter.
Oh, yeah.
Who has a similar artistic style, weapons, and sort of general steampunky vibe. So I think that's a reference to her, and that's sort of Bain's story.
And it's not everyone doesn't have their flavor text presented as a quote where someone is talking about them, right? It's usually just sort of the narrator speak. Yeah. It's just like someone in a saloon,
exactly,
telling some stories
in the
about
saloon.
Bain.
Yeah. I kind of wish it had a little attribution to the name of another character in this world or something.
That'd be good. But yeah, so Bain has kind of middle of the road attack and initiative ratings, and then really honestly middle of the road ratings across the board. 4s and 5s out of 8 on all on the 4 meters that are left after the reprint. I think rightfully simplified these with some implied opportunity based on the decisions you make to be a little more defensive and a little faster, and then as many like traits as I think I've seen on a character as the tactician, sniper, healer, farming, durable character.
Yeah, and look, they spelled farming correctly on this
one. On this one, yeah.
That's interesting.
Poor Rowena.
Yeah. That's right. So he's a tactician, a sniper, a healer, and he is farming, and he is durable.
Yeah, and I think it's probably assumed that you're not doing all of those things. You're making choices about how you build. That seems unlikely to me that you are being a tactician, which is like a puppet master, kind of pushing and moving people around the battlefield, and you're sniping, and you're healing, and you're farming. I think you're probably we'll see what choices he can make to lean into some of those over others.
Yeah, I think Bain's one of the characters I've played most of any character. And so I'm immediately like reading these cards and thinking, okay, that's his straight line green. This is his Zag blue.
Oh, okay.
And so like I think each of these icons is kind of attributable to certain upgrades that we'll talk about over the next few minutes.
Yeah, I think he's the character that I've seen you play the most. I think you've played him 3 or 4 times just in games with me.
Yeah.
And I've played him I think just once.
Okay, yeah.
So you're the expert. And as such, I think you have his gold card, right?
I do.
Should we get into it?
Sure. Dead or Alive. This is an 11 initiative, 2 defense, 1 boot, 4 basic attack with 4 range.
It's a strong basic attack.
But don't get too excited. 4 radius.
4 radius.
Target a unit adjacent to you. After the attack, you may give an enemy hero in radius 4, the bounty marker. A hero with the bounty marker spends 1 additional life counter when defeated. And here's the bounty marker, if you'd like to see it. It says Wanted.
It does.
That's probably not visible to the camera, but whatever.
Something was visible.
Yep. And so that's his yellow card or his gold card. And as you point out, 4 is quite a strong attack for a gold card. And I've definitely felt when using it that when you're defending against it, normally you're not using your silver or your green. Which are oftentimes like your lower defense cards.
Which are what you're defending against golds that poke for 1 or 2.
Right, exactly.
A lot of the time.
Like oftentimes you have to go 1 step higher than that to defend this. Especially if either he's got some attack upgrades or like you don't have any defense upgrades or whatever.
I'm sure he has some attack items. We'll have to keep a lookout for just how many because it's pretty... Even if you take 2 attack items, all of a sudden his gold is hitting for 6.
Yeah.
That's pretty nuts, even though it is melee. So
right.
It's like it's avoidable in that way. And it's not... There's no ability at least printed on it that lets him close the gap and attack melee or anything like that. So.
Right.
And I think as far as gold cards go, it's on the slow side at 11 initiative. I feel
that
like
right.
they
11
range
to 13-ish?
Yeah, maybe 10 to 13, but 13. Yeah.
Okay.
10 is kind of the high end for reds too, though. I think most golds are 11 to 13.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess tell us about his bounty marker. How do you his tips here say, and we quote this all the time when we're playing, the psychological effect of the bounty marker should not be underestimated.
Right. That is
how do you take advantage of the psychological effect?
That's a little harder to quantify and it depends a lot on the player. Mm-hmm. But I think when you put the bounty token on someone, they just have to be a little bit more wary of you. But the bounty token has, other uses. So it's sort of like I might be threatening you, be careful. And then sometimes I'm going to use it for this. I'm going to try and actually get the extra heart out of you. And sometimes I'm not actually planning to do that. And so it's almost, I don't know, it's a little shell gamey. I think it's fun. I don't know if it's a super strong effect psychologically, but I think the token is really strong overall. I feel like in most games with Bain, I get 1 extra heart out of the token. I would say in the last 4 or so games I've played with Bain, I've gotten at least 1 extra heart in 3 of them.
I guess that's pretty true. I would say kind of on the flip side, how many of those games did the extra heart matter? Because right by the mid game, your team is losing hearts in increments of 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the time, the 1 is like a rounding error that didn't matter in the end because you take them from 1 remaining heart down to -2.
Right.
With 1 less kill.
Maybe that's actually the better source of the psychological impact.
Maybe
because
so.
if I'm taking out an extra heart and you actually have lost an extra heart and it's earlier in the game,
you feel like you're down.
You feel like you're down, and you might feel like, I need to take some more defense upgrades instead of taking that other upgrade that I wanted to take. Or whatever the case may be. And I do find that the bounty token heart often comes towards the beginning of games.
Yeah. I've noticed that too. I can't even really articulate why that would be. But
yeah, I don't know why that is either. But does seem to be true. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe it's just at the beginning of the game.
Maybe 4 is really strong at the beginning of the game for a gold attack. And
although if this kills, the bounty is not going off, right? Although, but it is burning a decent defense card. Putting a bounty on them.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know really why that is. Maybe in the early game you are just placing it more reliably, period, because you're spending more time attacking minions sometimes in the late game, and you can hit a minion and then put the bounty on someone within radius, right? Yep. And so you're just more reliably getting it down, and then maybe in the later game you're not walking over to minions and meleeing them as often.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. But I agree with that observation that it seems like a lot of the time, like, the first kill of the game is the one that loses a heart to the bounty.
Right.
If it ever happens.
Interesting. Anyway, that's his gold card.
And so his silver card is Get Over Here. It is 13 initiative, has 2 defense on it, and it is a basic ranged skill with 4 range that says target a unit or token in range and in a straight line with no obstacles between you and the target. Move the target towards you in a straight line until you are adjacent. So this is the, it's I think even probably named in a reference to it is the like Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. Okay. Move, right? The like harpoon that pulls someone in, something like that. And he's got a crossbow, right? So yeah, I don't think. I guess in the picture he's more like lassoing someone's feet, but
no, I think you're right because his crossbow has like a rope attached to it. So
Yeah. If nothing else, I think the title of the card is a Mortal Kombat reference.
Yeah, that
in
makes
my
sense.
mind.
Yeah.
Like most silvers, we got to discuss, like, is it something you ever do, or is it just sort of a niche, a very occasional little card that you most of the time discard when you're attacked or something?
No, I think I play it relatively frequently. I think it's very easy to set yourself up to use this on a minion that you don't want to walk towards. And we can talk about, Bain's boots, sort of as we go through this, but they're not incredible. So being able to save that movement by bringing a minion that you want to kill directly over to you, and without having to be worried that minion is going to move out of the way before you get the chance to use this skill, is good. And then you can also use it on heroes. You can, pull a hero, poorly placed out of a zone. I think sometimes what you'll do is you'll put yourself in a position where a hero has to make a choice about either executing an attack or knowing that they're going to get pulled into you on the next turn. Either execute the attack and accept that you're going backwards.
Because this is so fast at 13.
Because it's very fast at 13. Or move out of the way and don't get your attack off.
Right.
And, I think those are
It definitely...
choices.
Once people are, if you're playing at a level where people are familiar with what you can do, this card sitting in your hand is a threat to people who are going last with their green, that type of thing,
right,
for deciding where they move.
Right, and also some people are really slow, like have low boots, and this really hurts them. And that feels good.
I bet. And you know what else it can do that I don't think I've really seen used well, but would love to, is it doesn't have to target an enemy. You could pull your ally in to then use their red card to attack the enemy that's nearby or something.
Yeah.
Which is a combo I don't think I've seen executed, but...
No, I haven't done that yet. I do want to try that. I've thought about it once or twice, but that feels hard to pull off.
Yeah.
That's the kind of, like, you need to silently communicate situation.
Right.
Like, I've already burned my red. I could play, something else. Like, they think I don't have any attacks left. Let me bring in my friend.
It's maybe more feasible, and I still don't think I've really seen it, but to use it to pull in an ally who's like out of position after the minion's pushed or something, get them in faster,
right,
pull them 3 spaces towards you, and then they can use their boots type of thing to suddenly they're in the action. I think there's actually a decent amount of utility there to use it on allied heroes that I don't feel like I've seen explored that much. So get on that.
Okay, I'm on it.
Are we talking about his red next?
I think so. So his red is Light Crossbow. This is 8 initiative, 5 defense, and 4 boots. It's a 5 attack, so only 1 better than the gold. It does have 2 range. And says target a unit in range and in a straight line with no units or terrain between you. So straight line, that's the same as the silver card. That's
a little bit of a theme there.
But range 2 is pretty good. It's not incredible because some heroes do have like range 2 with no restrictions. This is in a straight line with nothing between you.
Yeah.
But it gives him a little bit of extra reach.
I think this is also a little on the slow side, isn't it?
Yeah,
for
8
a
is
red.
slow for a red for sure.
So,
and 5 I think is kind of a low attack value for a red. I feel like 6 is more normal.
For a ranged attack, I feel like 5 is pretty par.
Okay.
Or maybe even a little high. I think there's some like ranged reds that are 4.
Okay.
This is ranged with a disadvantage, right? So
Right.
Yeah, I think it's good. I just think being slow, you will really want to put yourself in a position where if the heroes move out of the straight line of you, it doesn't mean you can hit with it.
Right. You definitely want to position yourself to have multiple targets with this, which is usually pretty doable, I think.
Well, we'll see how doable because a lot of the time a lot of your movement you're doing with your blue card. His is a game of chance. It has 9 initiative, so it's faster than his red, which I feel like is not always true of blues, is it?
Blues are, but I think blues are usually 9s and 10s.
Maybe so.
I don't know.
It is has 4 defense on it, 3 boots, and it is a skill with 2 radius that says an enemy hero in radius with 2 or more cards in hand chooses one of those cards. Guess that card's color, then reveal it. If you guess correctly, discard that card. Otherwise, you gain 1 coin. You can only guess colors that could be in that player's hand, it tells you. So you can't just guarantee yourself a coin by guessing purple. Yep. This is cool. It's a very fun moment. I think that it's a card you should usually use for its icons.
I will use it for a coin if that coin is the difference between level, like an extra level or not.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I usually use it for boots.
But you even have to know that early enough in the round. Because you kind of can only, unless like a hero has been healed or had returned a card to their hand, you can't really use it in turn 4. I guess you could use it in turn 3. They would have 2 cards left in hand if they haven't been hit.
Right.
But your options for using this definitely dwindle as the round goes on. And then your likelihood of guessing correctly increases, but the value of a discard decreases.
I don't think that's true. I think the value of a discard might increase. Because well, it doesn't decrease. It's the same at worst.
I think that forcing someone to discard one of their last 2 cards and then there's only 1 turn left
Makes them vulnerable to death immediately, right?
It does, but only gives you that 1 turn. You have to have lined up,
Yeah.
someone being in position and having their red left or whatever.
Yeah, I guess that's right.
Which is not always the case at that point. You have to have kind of built towards that and then guess right.
Yeah, I think all of this sort of assumes that you're guessing randomly, but most often you can decide whether or not you want to get rid of the card or get the dollar. Because like if people have 2 or 3 cards left, if it's like a red and they're silver, they're not putting their red down. They're not going to risk it being discarded. So you can guess red if you want the dollar, or you can guess silver if you want the card. And usually you'll get it.
But I love the mind game that can create, where if they understand that, they could try to pull a switcheroo to get you to guess silver but miss forcing them to discard, right?
Interesting. Yeah. I find myself almost always guessing red. And if they want to pull the switcheroo and lose their red card, I think it's okay. That's
probably, like, objectively, all else equal, probably the color you should name if it's in their hand.
Right.
Yeah. It is their best card.
It is their best card.
Just about every character.
Right.
Yeah. That's a good point. I guess this game of chance is pretty...
well, that's the idea, right? You're not playing, it's not actually a game of chance, It's you're
there's famously not chance in this game.
Well, exactly. Other than that starting coin flip.
Right? Yeah, which is what I blame whenever I lose.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, unerringly.
Yeah. Luck was not in my favor.
No, that's right. Okay. Anything more on this card here?
No. I think we just have his green for his starting cards to talk about.
Close call. This is a defense ability. It is 4 initiative and 2 boots if you decide to play it that way. But as a defense, it says if a hero in play has a bounty marker, block the attack, and that hero gives the marker to you. And what that means is now there's a bounty on you, and if you die, you lose 1 extra heart.
Does it? I always forget that part.
That's only on the 1. That goes away as you level this up. But yes, on the 1, you get the bounty.
Oh, funny. Oh, so the... Oh, yeah. Okay. I see. I'm looking at the level up versions of this that we'll talk about in a moment. But You're right. The level 2 version of this uses the phrase retrieve the marker, which is not the same thing.
And the level 3 one is just leaves the marker in place.
That's very funny that's a guaranteed defense that leaves you with a bounty on your head yourself. I love that design. I think that's super cool. I don't think that's likely to matter almost ever that you have a bounty on you after that.
Right.
Especially because you've just blocked probably their toughest attack, their biggest attack. Although I don't know if they're focusing on you, it could matter.
It could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool card. And is that the? I know we're obviously going to talk about all the cards, but do you know off the top of your head, is that the only other way to use this bounty other than its inherent effect?
No.
There are other options?
His Zag Blue has something.
Oh, okay. Well, let's talk about his... this is, I think, his straight upgrade reds.
Yep.
Right? He has Heavy Crossbow, which is 5 attack, 3 range, target unit in range in a straight line with no units or terrain between you. So it gained a range. I think that's the difference between light crossbow and heavy crossbow. Heavy crossbow shoots 1 further, and he gained like a monocle or something in the art. It's very similar.
No, the monocle's still there. That's
some sort of
it's like a zoomed in monocle. That's very funny.
Some sort of vision aid on his face. Yeah,
that's hilarious.
And then Arbalest is the fully upgraded version in this direction, which is has 9 initiative, so 1 more, 6 defense, so 1 more, and 4 range. Oh, and 6 attack. So all the numbers went up by 1, except for boots on this. And then still, target unit in range in a straight line with no units or terrain between you.
And we should say those upgrades, the 2 upgrade comes with an initiative, and the 3 upgrade comes with a boot.
So far we haven't seen any. We were talking about looking for attack upgrades.
Right.
To upgrade his gold, and you're not getting any from his red cards.
None of them's red.
Interesting.
All right, and so the Zag here is hand crossbow. Oh, sorry, are you done with those?
Yeah, I mean, there's not too much to like comment about them.
Yeah.
I think that probably the level 2 expanding to 3 range feels really good, and then growing it to 4 range doesn't feel like it serves that much of a point. I think that people being 4 range from you and not closer, but still in a straight line of you, that's like, you're talking about 6 specific hexes that are like halfway across the world from you.
Yeah.
That it just seems like unlikely for that change in range to matter that much. That's probably why this one upgrades the other numbers too. But
it is kind of fun that that's the same distance that you can use your silver to target at. So it's like, if you're in that hex, now you could be targeted by my red or my silver.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, and you both have to be in a straight line. So if you're going up against Bain, stay out of his line of sight.
Right. All right, so the Zag here is hand crossbow and then hunter seeker. So hand crossbow is an 8/6 shield, so 1 more shield. Only a 4 attack, so it goes down by 1. And it has 3 range, and it says choose 1. Target a hero in range with a bounty marker, or target a unit adjacent to you.
Oh, so that makes the bounty matter.
Right, so you can either hit adjacent to you, or you can hit a hero in range with a bounty marker. And this is how I got that final kill on Candace, was I put the bounty marker on her, and then I could target her with this, avoiding the fact that there was something in between us.
Right.
Right, because we were kind of in a cluster. So this is the way you get around that.
Fancy, okay.
And the final upgrade here, Hunter Seeker, 9 initiative, 7 shields, still 4 boots, 5 attacks, so 1 more. But this one says choose 1 or both on different targets. Targeting someone with the bounty marker and then a unit adjacent to you. So if you can get this off, which isn't that hard, because if you have the bounty marker out and you haven't had to use it for your defense, like your low-level defense or whatever, it'll stay there for the round. 3 range is, pretty good range, and there's like no restriction on that. So you just have to go stand next to a minion or something, and then you can get a double attack.
Yeah, that card seems great. And if you go this direction with your red upgrades, you are getting a defense item each time.
Right. And I find I often take this path. I think this is more fun. Sometimes...
I agree that it's more fun.
Yeah. Sometimes I will take the level 2 here for the shield, and then switch back to, and then get to the level 3 here as my final upgrade, which...
No, it'd be the other way around.
Sorry, to get the initiative.
Yeah.
Sorry, take this to get the initiative, and then end up here. Because initiative is something Bain lacks and wants to grow in.
I think that's exactly what I would do probably 75% of the time or more, is that exact path of heavy crossbow and then hunter seeker. So you come away with an initiative and a defense and landing on hunter seeker as your late game card.
And this can surprise because people are used to the straight line upgrades.
Yeah, people get used to
the first time you're playing hunter seeker, they're not safe. Yeah, it's fun.
Yep. Man, I gotta memorize this. I gotta know. All right, if you upgrade your red and gain a defense, I know to watch out.
There you go. Oh, that's great. Okay. All right, so that's the red upgrade tree.
All right, his blues.
I think I might have to wait. I'm not sure.
I think Dead Man's Hand is an upgrade to the Game of Chance, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm holding them. Yep. Dead Man's Hand says an enemy hero. So let's see. It's gains 1 initiative and 1 radius over a game of chance. And then says an enemy hero in radius with 2 or more cards in hand. Choose one of those cards. Guess that card's color. Reveal it. If you guess correctly, discard that card. Otherwise, you gain 2 coins. So radius increased, which is pretty meaningful to go from 2 to 3.
Right.
And then the number of coins you get becomes 2, that's double the coins.
It's double the coins, but you're sort of further along in your leveling, so it's about as like equal percentage of the coins you need or something. I don't know. It's like that doesn't feel like a huge bump.
I guess that's true. Like two when you need 6 is about the same as 1 when you need 3.
Uh-huh.
So okay, so you just are treading water upgrading this. You're saying
that's because when I saw that I was like 2 coins, ooh. But then I was like, oh no, this is like not that great. Yeah.
Yeah, but hey, it's the other things and like the minions don't scale, so this is giving you a whole minion kill worth of value as opposed to half a minion kill worth of value.
That's true.
So
and the next one goes up to 3 coins.
Spoiler, geez, we're not done yet. His next upgrade keeps the stats the same except has 5 defense. And
it doesn't go up to 3 coins. I'm wrong.
You were wrong. Wow.
You just get,
incorrect spoiler. That's even worse.
Incorrect spoiler. Excuse me.
An enemy hero in radius with 2 or more cards in hand. Choose one of those cards, guess that card's color, then reveal it. If you guess correctly, discard that card. Otherwise, may repeat once or gain 2 coins. Mm-hmm. And I assume repeat once doesn't mean guess again. It means they choose again and you guess.
I think so, yeah.
That's a shame.
So it's like if you really wanted to get the discard, you can try twice. I've never taken that.
It doesn't seem
especially
great.
because at the bottom it has a range
upgrade,
which is like huge.
Really want.
Yeah. Especially for a hunter seeker where you can hit anyone as long as they have the bounty token. You really want that to be as big a range as possible. So
do you find, and this is maybe a conversation for after we've looked at all of them, but do you find that you mostly follow the same upgrade paths every time you play Bain? Because that's now 2 colors where we kind of see a path that is clearly at least the way, or at least clearly our favorite.
Blue is actually where I vary the most because although I don't love those, I also don't love these.
Oh, well, why don't you tell us about those?
Okay. So the first one here is Drinking Buddies. You may have a hero in radius retrieve a discarded card.
Oh, this is the healing.
If they do, you may also retrieve a discarded card.
Right.
So, unless your team is really... Because you don't really want to have an enemy pick up a card and then you pick up a card. So unless your team is the one that's discarding a bunch of cards, you don't really want this. And like, for instance, I played this in a game with Garrus recently, and Garrus often has a card in the discard, but usually Garrus wants that card in the discard, and so having them pick it up is like anti-synergistic to them. So basically the most common use for this will be having an enemy pick up a card and you pick up a card, and that sucks. Like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Well, that has the coveted attack upgrade on it, so
and it does. So then you end up going with that.
Take
right?
Dead Man's Hand, right?
And then the 3 here, which also has an attack upgrade, 5 defense, and 3 range, which is the same. You may have a hero in radius retrieve a discarded card. If they do, you may also retrieve a discarded card. Then at the end of the turn, you can repeat that once. How often do you really have 2 cards in your discard that you need to pick up? Not that often.
I mean, this is still good just if your ally has 2 cards they need to pick up, right? You don't have to get 2. If you got... This would be probably the best heal possible in this game if you recover 4 actual cards with it among your team. That's basically unheard of.
Yeah, that's true.
So I wouldn't say like, well, if it can't pull off the 4 heal, it's not worth playing.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I don't know. I'm not sure. These blue upgrades, I feel like I take them each half the time, and it kind of depends on whether I want attack or defense upgrades.
I like another one a lot, and the other thing that this can do is it heals now, and it heals at the end of the turn, which, if this goes before like an opponent's red, then this could heal the same card twice, right, for your ally. They recover their best defense card, get hit again, and then pick it up again. Because of the timing. Like, I think it's better this way, where it says end of turn you may repeat, than if it were to happen twice at once.
Yeah. I agree with
Not
that.
strictly better. There are times when it's twice now that would save the day. But I think overall it makes it a more interesting and potentially better in general card.
That's a good point. Yeah. Another good use for it is if you want to heal each of your allies once, right? You can like let one of them pick up a card now, one of them pick up a card later. So it's not that it doesn't have its uses, it's that I don't often find like useful cases for it, and the attack upgrade is so appealing.
It also has an attack item, so yeah, if you stick with the games of chance, then your gold hits for 6,
right?
Which feels like a pretty good upside.
But the 3 here is the range, so you have to. So like
Oh, we have to decide between the range and the attack.
Right, so with these blues, I feel like the items end up being really important, and the effects end up being less important and situational, and I often use these cards for boots.
Making you decide between the attack or the range is probably good game design, but it's very frustrating in the moment, I bet. You want both.
You do want both, yeah. It's a fun choice, though.
So his defensive green card can upgrade to Narrow Escape, which we talked briefly about already. It has 2 boots on it and a defense ability. If a hero in play has a bounty marker, block the attack and retrieve the marker. And at the base level, it was also just any hero in play. It doesn't have to be within a certain radius. Wow, okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So it's basically just if you've played your gold card.
Well, right? It's a pretty gold card, and we're in radius of a hero at that time to give them the bounty token.
Sure, but I would posit that if you played your gold card to kill a minion and you weren't within range 4 of a hero, you're probably doing great. They were probably at base because you killed them.
Yeah, that's maybe true.
But anyway, okay, so the main upgrade here is that it doesn't self-bounty yourself.
Right, it just goes back to your supply.
And I guess that by the logic then that I was saying, I don't think that bounty getting pulled to you matters a lot of the time. This is not that valuable an upgrade in my mind.
Right, but it does come with an attack.
The alternative is an attack item. Okay, well, never mind. I love Narrow Escape.
There you go.
And then Perfect Getaway, as a lot of green cards do when you upgrade them, loses some initiative, and then says, if a hero in play has the bounty marker, block the attack. It does not remove it from them.
Right.
So you can defend yourself and continue the offense for the extra heart.
I will say that is great, because especially because if you have Hunter Seeker, you want that hero to have a bounty token so you can hit them. So not having to remove the bounty token from them in order to get a full block, and then being able to play Hunter Seeker later in the round is good.
Sounds good.
Yeah. But the Zag, anyway, and I should say, the second upgrade there comes with a radius upgrade.
That's the radius. That helps you spread your bounty further, or play 3-card Monty with someone from further away. It doesn't actually...
Drinking Buddies.
Or the heal.
Radius.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not a ton of
I don't feel like the radius seems that critical to him.
I agree. Yeah. The Zag here is Vantage Point, which is 3 defense, 2 plus boot movement ability that says move to ignore obstacles. If a hero in play has a bounty token, +1 movement. So here's another use for the bounty token. It gives 3 movement instead of 2.
3 movement, ignoring obstacles at a slow speed, because that's sometimes one of the strategic advantages of green cards. They let you go last and then play something fast next time.
Right.
That card seems great.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the third level here is 3 initiative and 4 defense. And the only difference is if a hero has a bounty token, +2 movement instead of +1. And
that seems like it's one better.
There you go. And both of these cards have initiative
upgrades.
So that's kind of green. I find myself going that defensive route, but I think the reason is because when I play Bain, I mostly have been playing him in a hero kill focused way. And so I think that ends up being more valuable to...
Yeah, I mean, I think he naturally wants to do that, right, with the bounty marker.
Right. But I think this is better for, like, minion kills and dodging and defensive stuff.
Yeah, I agree. But I do think that if Bain is on your team, there's a great chance that your team's win condition that you're going for should be hero kills.
Maybe so, yeah.
Well, all that we have left is his ult. Have you gotten his ult before?
Never.
Yeah.
I've still never gotten an ult.
Really?
Uh-huh. I've been in games where we've gotten an ult.
I think I've gotten an ult twice now and lost both times.
Yeah.
Figure.
I've only had an ult gotten by my team once, and we won, but it's only because the other team got their ult first. So they got their ult, then we got our ult, then we won.
Turns out ults are traps. They're jinxes.
I don't know what's going on with ults, but it feels like if you're in a position to get an ult, you're not in a winning position.
Well, if you're going to lose as Bain, you have probably acquired a complicated profession. His ultimate that says, after you give the hero a bounty marker, that hero discards card if able. Seems good. I'm always, just from like a game design critique perspective, I'm always mildly annoyed when the ult just like modifies one of your cards. So it doesn't really feel like a passive ability. It feels like it stapled some text onto one of your other cards.
Sure.
But that's how a lot of them are.
Yeah, I will say that like ults feel varying degrees of strong, and this one feels relatively weak compared to some other ults. Not that they're coming out that often, but it doesn't seem like incredible.
I will say, if you have this and hit someone with your gold, you have just gotten 2 cards out of them.
That's true.
Right there.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I guess, yeah, that will probably lead to a hero kill that round.
It seems likely. Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
And I mean, we've discussed his gold is melee and on the slow side for a gold, so how often are you landing it on heroes instead of just minions and place the bounty? I don't know, but
yeah. But still, then it's
feel
almost,
really good.
It's almost like a double attack. It's like kill a minion and also discard a hero's worst defense card.
Yeah.
That's Bain. I think Bane's super fun to play. He's really dynamic. The straight line restriction on a bunch of his abilities is fun. The bounty token is really interesting. Like when you have the bounty token on you, A, you're worried about losing another heart. B, you're worried about Bain being able to defend any attack that you levy on him. C, you're worried about Hunter Seeker. It can target you from 4 spaces away if he has the range upgrade. D, you're worried about him getting an extra movement from high ground. Like there's all these different abilities that trigger off that bounty marker being in play, and it's kind of fun. It's a little spice, so I really enjoy it. And oh, go ahead.
No. Go ahead and finish.
I just had a thought, which is it's almost like Ursafar's Enrage ability, where it turns on a bunch of his other abilities. But it's a little sneakier. It's probably a little weaker than Ursafar's ability. But instead of having to do almost nothing to turn it on, you got to do an attack.
Right.
And then you got to turn it on. Like, that feels way better. So...
Yeah, Ursafar feels like he has strong cards, but no turn one every round.
Right, exactly.
Is his Achilles heel. I think that Bain is like the perfect 2-star character. Like, he has this bounty marker is like something that's cool, unique to him, makes you kind of feel like you've graduated to heroes that are a little flashier, but without being very complicated at all, really, for anyone involved. I mean, I guess your opponent has to deal with that psychological effect, but...
There's that. I think Bain has, like, the psychological effect is one thing, but also the, like, play around his 4 range in a straight line is another thing. So there's a few things you have to play around, but yeah. I agree. But he's a good 2-star character.
Yeah. And maybe as we go through the 2-star characters, I will feel that way about most of them. It's a thought that crossed my mind that it's not like something I've thought a lot about. But I just think that he's like a perfect, if someone's played the game 2-3 times now, they've tried a couple of the 1-star characters, they don't want to be the one at the table playing a 1-star anymore. I think Bane's a good option.
I still say like 4 or 5 games of 1-stars and then play a 2-star, but that's just me.
That's just him.
It's just me.
No, I would maybe recommend that someone who's only played twice continue playing 1-stars, but I would like, if I'm teaching you at the table, probably if it's your second game, I'm going to be like, if you're going to play the game with us, you're only choosing 1-star. Like,
right.
Sorry, pal.
Right.
And then I think after about 2 games, I would probably say, like, okay, I'm not going to, I'll take the guardrails away. It's up to you.
Right.
And,
that's
up to them.
That's the policy I would also adopt. But yeah, I think he's a great 2-star character, and it doesn't feel like the 1-stars, but especially not the 2-stars, feel too simple. Even though we're playing 3 stars, we're looking at 4 stars now.
Yeah, games is all looking at.
Exactly.
Have you even played in any games with 4 stars yet?
No.
We're all too scared.
But like he still feels very rich, and there's a lot to do with Bain, even though, like you said, he's not that complicated.
Yeah, and he's one you keep coming back to.
I love Bain. I think he's a super fun character.
All these 4-star characters Jordan could be playing, he still chooses Bain, so that says something.
Yeah. Well, could I be playing the 4 stars? I don't know. We'll see.
You technically could.
Yeah. It feels like the kind of thing where you have to get consent from everyone at the table. Like, are you okay with this? Are you okay with this? Okay.
Maybe so.
I'll play Nebker or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still... I will always say yes to someone playing Razzle. I want 4 targets. I want 4 things I can kill.
Right. No one's ready to play Razzle yet.
Nope. It's the one that people keep eyeing in our group and keep liking to talk about playing.
For me, it's Gideon. I think Gideon is more exciting than Razzle.
Man, Gideon.
I'm really excited to mess with that spellbook.
I think I would probably feel more comfortable trying Gideon before I got to someone like Snorri.
Snorri's crazy.
The runes.
Yeah.
Or Ignatia, who was a 3-star character in the first printing of the game, but is insane.
I feel like Ignatia is like somehow easier than Snorri. I don't know why.
Ignatia is my favorite 4-star character to tell new players about, to blow their minds, because you can communicate her deal in a sentence or 2. It's
right.
All of her cards do 2 things depending on what side the coin is on.
Right.
And all that someone has to do is reflect on that for a second to be think about how they just finished a game where they were never thinking about what side the coin was on, and it just felt random. It's not random, but it felt random.
Right. It has gotten to the point in our games where I'm thinking about that coin more.
Yeah.
So I think pretty soon that won't feel so crazy. Especially when you're going up against a player and you have similar initiative on a single card.
Yep.
And you know it's going to be a tie, and you're like, do I have the coin on my side? Because that means I can make this play. If I don't have the coin on my side, I can't.
Agreed. That's definitely when I was saying that I'm getting I've gotten a lot better at the mechanics of the game, and the next step is getting better at the teamwork, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. Is I'm more often able to see that a tie is going to happen and consider what side the coin is on, and then decide whether that is going to work out well for me.
So you're ready for Ignatia, I think.
Okay. Next game. You heard it here first.
There you go.
I'll be the first one.
You'll do Ignatia.
I'll rip the Band-Aid off the 4-star characters by Ignatia. Yep.
Can't wait.
Yep. I'll report back on how it goes. I'm sure it'll be great.
Perfect.
All right. I think that's a video. Thank you for the chat.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. I think I'm a bad YouTuber and have gone 40 minutes into this video without saying you should like it. You should like it in a general sense, but also hit the button and subscribe to the channel.
Express how much you like it, which we know you do.
Yeah, in a comment, which also helps us in the algorithm.
There you go.
Yeah, we appreciate you hitting all the buttons. We don't have a Patreon or anything, so that's the one way to support us and to let us know, which you've been doing a good job.
Right, people have been asking for more guards content, and here we are.
But letting us know that you want us to keep doing these and playing more guards and generally making more content. So thank you for doing that. Jordan is a regular on the Game Brain podcast, so you can also catch more of Jordan there wherever you get your podcasts, talking about sometimes miniature skirmish games like Star Wars Shatterpoint and sometimes board games at large, right?
Right. In the most recent podcast I was on, we reviewed Galactic Cruise, which is a mid-weight Euro game that's quite fun. And we also talked about that 5v5 guards games and some other stories from our recent mountain retreat.
Oh, I haven't listened to that episode yet. I want to hear your actual thoughts about the 5v5 cards game. What you say about it when I'm not here.
Yeah.
Into a microphone.
It's totally different. yeah.
All right, I'm excited to hear that. Thank you for watching. That's it for us. We'll be back soon. Until then, be optimal.